and that no family with children is being forced to live on the street. In Midtown, Mac Rosenberg, WCBS 880 News.
Now from the Adams administration's immigrant shelter rules to a new medical payment plan of sorts for folks in New York City.
The mayor says the number one cause of bankruptcy filings personally in the city, medical debt. There's a new program that he's unveiling here that will wipe out $2 billion in medical debt.
The program will wipe out debt for up to 500,000 New Yorkers on a one-time basis and will be the largest municipal initiative of this kind in the country.
So how is this going to work? The city is working with a group called RIP Medical. It's a nonprofit. They settle with providers for pennies on the dollar. 18 million city dollars will wipe out that $2 billion in debt. Glenn Schuck, WCBS 880 News.
On Manhattan's east side, in Harlem.
The long-awaited next phase of the 2nd Avenue subway is finally on track, which will extend the Q line from 96th Street all the way up to 125th, speeding up service. Will this save you time?
Roughly like 20 minutes.
The older people don't have to stay waiting for the bus.
Governor Hochul announced Monday a $182 million construction contract was awarded, the first of 4. The job is to relocate underground utilities like sewer, water, and cable first. One of the many lessons learned from the first phase, which connected 63rd Street to 96 and had all kinds of delays and complications before it was completed in 2017.
All the utilities to do, get them out of the way, and that's the precursor for starting to dig the big holes.
These images show big holes in tunnels that were already dug back in the 1970s below 110th Street to 120th. But due to various constraints, the project was delayed for decades. Now crews will connect new tunnels to the old, saving time and money, an estimated $500 million.
We have found a way to use those tunnels, even though they're slightly not the right size that we'd like in our modern system.
CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge reporting. Well, New Jersey state officials decided not to spend money to lift homes near the Raritan River in Somerset County's borough of Manville.
The policy was announced last summer and approved by the Department of Housing and Urban Development last month. This means that dozens of residents in a flood-prone zone now have the option to stay at their own risk or apply for a buyout so that the state can buy the property and turn it into an open green space. 2 years ago, that area got hit by more than 10 inches of rain, and the flood risks are so high that the state has decided it just makes no sense to waste money by lifting homes. Some residents tell the Star-Ledger they are finding out about the new policy only now. Steve Scott, WCBS 880 News.
WCBS News Time, 8:38. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. Here's Kelly Dillard.
A crash on the westbound Jackie Robinson Parkway into Queens Boulevard, still in the right lane. Still bumper-to-bumper delays here tonight. BQE is a bit slow each way at Atlantic Avenue. Also, looks like a new crash on the westbound Southern State right past the Wantagh State Parkway, starting to back things up. The westbound Northern State near exit 39 in Huntington, an accident on the shoulder here, also a slow ride. Now, there's construction work in Connecticut, southbound 95, exit 18 through 16 in Westport. Left lane is out. Traffic now at a standstill through this area, so definitely skip this spot. You can head to the Merritt Parkway, which is quiet. And I'm Kelly Gilling in the WCBS Traffic Center.
And now the forecast.
Clouds will pick it up as we head through tonight, so we'll get down to a low of 32, so not as cold as recent nights. And cloudy tomorrow. There will be some pockets of rain arriving in the morning. The best chance will be north of the city for rain tomorrow, and there can be some snow, sleet, and freezing rain mixed in, and perhaps even some slippery conditions at the onset. But from the city on south to west, perhaps a little bit of rain, but most of the day will be dry. High temperatures near 40. Much of the day will be in the 30s north of the city. A little rain at times tomorrow night, which can be mixed with snow and ice in the northern suburbs. Still, temperatures will be in the mid-30s. Cloudy and damp Wednesday with occasional rain and drizzle, high 44. Up to 51 on Thursday, cloudy with periods of rain, and it will be quite mild by Friday, 57 the high with some rain around, especially early. Looks mild with some sun returning Saturday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson.
All right, now, it's 35 degrees over LaGuardia, but with those 13-mile-an-hour winds, clock feels like 26 degrees. That's that wind chill reading here at 8:40.
Wake Up with Wayne and Paul.
CBS News business analyst Joe Schlesinger is on the line. And you want to tell them what they said in Detroit about why the markets are so rosy lately and so?
Oh, the Lions fans say it's called the Lions Lift. I don't want to even tell you what happened in Buffalo. If you have a friend in Buffalo, send a babka because they're sitting shiver.
Weekdays on WCBS 880 News.
At Greenwich Hospital, we put our patients at the center of everything we do, whether it's supporting your birth experience or providing life-saving stroke and cancer treatments. Our extraordinarily compassionate team uses the most advanced science to deliver effective and personalized care. Because as part of Yale New Haven Health, everything at Greenwich Hospital is done as it should be, with the greatest of care. Learn more at greenwichhospital.org.
Looking for Continental winter tires? Then head to Town Fair Tire, New England's largest volume discount tire dealer. We've got Continental tires in every size for every vehicle, in stock with more arriving daily, all at the guaranteed lowest price. And when you add the most free services for life, it's easy to see how nobody beats Town Fair Tire for your new Continental winter tires. And I mean nobody.
Name brand and discount prices, Town Fair Tire.
DXing Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast. With a buck here, a buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken fees. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
WCBS News Time, 8:42 here on Nightside. So Newsday reporters checked the latest numbers from the MTA and Port Authority to find both agencies lost a combined $86 million in 2022. Drivers finding slick ways to avoid paying tolls at bridges and tunnels.
I mean, I can't drive a block without seeing somebody who's obscured their plate somehow, who's scratching it, or even taping a leaf to one of the characters on the plate. So it's going to get much worse. I mean, anybody can figure that out. This is, this company will get pretty creative, especially with cheats. You can see it. So we have to do something. Please crack down, harsher penalties. The governor's doing it too. The governor's actually, I think, she gets her way, will make it a felony on repeated violations.
What happens if someone is busted for this?
Well, right now it's a slap on the wrist. In some cases, if you get caught on the street, $65. I mean, fine for, if somebody parks. If you're moving up for a greater violation, it could be $100 or more. But we want to push it up to $300 and $500 if you get caught doing this, because you're cheating. It could be, like you said earlier, thousands or millions of dollars a month. So, we have to put an end to this. It's insane. But, again, you're getting people that are actually leaving the scene of accidents and so forth. You'll see them committing crimes because you can't read their plate.
Now, the City Council recently passed a law that cracks down on these so-called ghost cars with hidden plates. Will this help to lower the number of toll evaders?
But you still need enforcement because, again, like I mentioned, you're driving a block or two, and I see them. I have a whole collection of photographs. And the way this started, I was driving past my office in my district, and a guy was in the other lane going in the wrong direction, speeding, and he pulled up in front of us, and I said to my chief of staff, get a picture of this guy's plate. And what happened was a curtain came down over the plate, like James Bond, covering the plate. So I said, well, we have to come up with a law, and we did. We came up with Local Law 22, prohibits the sale of these devices in New York City, but it's still happening. You still catch people selling them online, or, for instance, we found them on Amazon recently, which is against the law to sell in New York City, something that obscures the license plate.
Is busting these people just low priority for the police with so much else going on?
Well, that's the problem. We have fewer police officers, and many of them don't want to get into an issue because the people that are doing this usually will run, and and the police don't want to chase them. So that's the problem we have there. So we need the technology to catch them and find them heavily so that they won't try this. And when congestion pricing comes, it's going to skyrocket.
Now, Governor Hochul's newly announced budget includes a proposal that could put serial toll evaders in jail.
Well, and again, if they're doing it over and over again, they should be, because they're cheating the government, they're cheating the rest of us also, the taxpayers that are paying this.
City Councilman Robert Holden there on WCBS's Drive Time with Suzanne Colucci. That was for Michael Wallace earlier this evening. Now, before Oscar nominations come out tomorrow morning, we look at the other side of the movie spectrum, the worst.
Let's fly, baby! The fourth installment of The Expendables leads the nominees for this year's Golden Raspberry Awards, also known as the Razzies.
I got this situation where I need your help.
The film got 7 nominations, including Worst Picture of the Year.
I don't want to go to hell.
The Exorcist Believer, The Meg 2, Shazam sequel, and Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey are also up for that honor.
Should be close now.
The Razzies highlight the worst performances of the year, and they're typically announced the day before Oscar nominations. Razzie winners will be announced March 9th. Monica Rick, CBS News.
Well, it came out Monday that movie director Norman Jewison died at his home Saturday at the age of 97.
Norman Jewison directed many memorable movies during his decades-long career. Comedies like Moonstruck.
You love him, Loretta? No, I love him awful. Oh, God, that's too bad.
Dramas such as In the Heat of the Night.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
And the musical Fiddler on the Roof. All 3 movies earned Jewison Oscar nominations for Best Director. And when he was recognized for his body of work in 1999 with a Special Academy Award, he offered this advice to young filmmakers.
Just tell stories that move us to laughter and tears and perhaps reveal a little truth about ourselves.
Jim Chenevey, CBS News.
Page 47, the Long Beach Humane Society. Because all the cats they could possibly care for right now. Not taking any more for now.
The nonprofit says it's still struggling to recover from the pandemic. They say donations are down and it's expensive to house more cats because they don't know how long they'll have to keep them. The idea is that when things get better and they raise $50,000 to recover financially, they will resume taking in more cats. Suzanne Colucci, WCBS 880 News.
WCBS News time, 8:48. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. Here's Kelly Dillon.
And we do have a crash in Queens on the westbound Jackie Robinson Parkway at Queens Boulevard. Right lane knocked out, still bumper to bumper. An accident on the eastbound LIE into the Grand Central, clearing up from the right lane. Delays go back to Woodhaven. Westbound on the southern state past the Wantaste Parkway, there is this crash closing a couple lanes, so traffic there at a standstill. BQE a bit slow each way, heading into Atlantic Ave in Brooklyn. Not bad on the West Side Highway or the FDR Drive. The northbound Garden State Parkway a bit slow into exit 145 for 280 with right lane construction. And I'm Kelly Dillon in the WCBS Traffic Center.
And now the forecast.
Clouds will pick it up as we head through tonight, so we'll get down to a low of 32, so not as cold as recent nights. And cloudy tomorrow. There will be some pockets of rain arriving in the morning. The best chance will be north of the city for rain tomorrow, and there can be some snow, sleet, and freezing rain mixed in, and perhaps even some slippery conditions at the onset. But from the city on south to west, perhaps a little bit of rain, but most of the day will be dry. High temperatures near 40. Much of the day will be in the 30s north of the city. A little rain at times tomorrow night, which can be mixed with snow and ice in the northern suburbs. Still, temperatures will be in the mid-30s. Cloudy and damp Wednesday with occasional rain and drizzle, high 44. Up to 51 on Thursday, cloudy with periods of rain, and it will be quite mild by Friday, 57 the high with some rain around, especially early. Looks mild with some sun returning Saturday. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Brian Thompson.
There's something magical about unboxing. When you unbox BritBox, you uncover a world of British entertainment. Stream the UK's most brilliant series, including new and upcoming seasons of Shetland, Father Brown, and Death in Paradise. Plus new originals like Payback, Irving Welsh's Crime, and Archie, the story of Hollywood's greatest leading man, Cary Grant. Unbox BritBox and escape to the best of British TV. Stream with a free trial at BritBox.com.
Hey everyone, gather round. It's time for corny jokes about passing the torch.
The team at Kirian's Welding was fused together solid.
Thanks for all the late nights and early shifts.
But double retirements mean the crew must bond with some certified new hires.
You've both gone the extra millimeter.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. 8+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799. 800-598-4799.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body's stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil Nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans directly, and recycle old clothes by donating them. When we each share one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Cars for Kids, your trusted charity for car donations, also accepts donations of boats, RVs, motorcycles, and real estate. Call today, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
If you wanna go and take a ride with me, you can dream with it in the cold with the goatees.
WCBS News Time, 8:53 here on Nightside. New York City Mayor Eric Adams has invited every member of City Council to go on a ride along with NYPD officers to see how they handle business while thinking of overriding the mayor's veto of a police accountability bill that would change how they go about that business.
The mayor hopes the council can understand where he's coming from, but it doesn't seem like they'll be convinced.
We would definitely want to and desire to override.
We will vote to override this veto.
Public Safety Committee Chair Yusef Salam and How Many Stops Act co-sponsor Alexa Avilas agree on the override, but differ when it comes to the NYPD ride-along the mayor is suggesting to try and sell his view.
Being able to see what's actually happening from the inside out regarding how many stops is important.
Avila sees the invitation more as an underlying message.
This notion that this legislation is coming from people that have no idea what the work looks like on the ground or the harms that are experiencing as a result of it is really unfortunate.
In Midtown, Mac Rosenberg, WCBS 880 News.
Now to health news.
A study in the Journal of Neuroscience Research suggests that there could be a connection between cannabis use and empathy. Participants were measured in 2 different ways. Weed users scored higher in a test that measured the ability to understand another's emotional state. In an imaging test, Cannabis users also showed they had a greater connectivity in areas associated with emotional and empathy-related regions. Paul Murnane, WCBS 880 News.
And here at 8:55 on the Bloomberg Money News here on WCBS.
The head of one of Boeing's biggest customers has become one of its biggest critics. Bloomberg News reports that since the grounding of the 737 MAX 9, United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby has been venting his frustrations about Boeing quality lapses during private conversations with other United executives and with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. What United is saying in public is that the MAX 9 issues have been costly. The airline is forecasting a first quarter loss as large as 85 cents a share, and that is if the grounded jets take flight again in February. Boeing was no help to the Dow, but the Dow did not need it. The average climbed to the 38,000 milestone for the first time. That is a record, of course, and it is up 138 points. The S&P is also at a new high after rising 11 points. The NASDAQ is up 49. With Money News at 25 and 55 on WCBS and Bloomberg's Tracy Jonke.
And we'll get to traffic and weather together in 2 minutes. After that, back to tonight's top stories.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Easy Cater presents We've Got Your Back, Up Singers.
So I order food on Easy Cater for a meeting with a new client in Jackson. On my way to the airport, it hits me. The client is actually in Jacksonville. So I call Easy Cater. Nina picks up right away. She called me right back and said, you're all set.
Jackson, Easy Cater has your back with 24/7 support. Order at easycater.com and know. We got your back.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. They have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters.
866-DADS Law, 701 Eastgate Drive, Suite 310, Mount Laurel, New Jersey, 08054. Diana Magala, licensed in New York and New Jersey. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Here at 8:58, time for traffic and weather on the 8s. What's up, Kelly Dillon?
An accident on the westbound Jackie Robinson Parkway at Queens Boulevard in the right lane. Still bumper to bumper there. Also an accident on the eastbound LIE before the Grand Central. Now wrapping up. The westbound Southern State has a crash right past the Wantagh State Parkway. Also clearing up. It's still a bit slow there. We're busy on the Queens-bound Whitestone Bridge. Delays picking up better across the Throgs Neck and not looking too bad on the RFK Bridge. And I'm Kelly Dillon in the WCBS Traffic Center.
For the rest of the night tonight, we're bottoming out to about 32 degrees. Maybe a little cooler in outlying suburbs. And then once we get into tomorrow, a little rain in the morning, maybe mixed with some snow, sleet, freezing rain, mainly north of New York City, where it could be slippery, high near 40, but much of the day in the 30s north of the city. For now, it's 35 degrees over LaGuardia. It feels like 26 though with those 13-mile-an-hour winds.
When you need to know why, when it matters most. This is WCBS 880 News.
voters in New Hampshire head to the polls Tuesday for the presidential primary. An NYPD sergeant is recovering after cops say a guy slashed him in the face in Brooklyn. Well, the penalty phase of former President Trump's defamation case in Manhattan got pushed back a day because someone was sick. And some people in Bristol must have been sick over their cars being stolen this month. But cops say a lot of them made it easy by leaving the cars running to warm up for the crook. Sports, Devils now trail the Golden Knights 5-4 headed to the third. It's 35 degrees, wind chill 28 in Central Park evening. I'm Levon Putney. This is WCBS and WCBS FM HD2, New York. At 9 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper in Chicago. We're some 40 miles southwest of the city. Multiple people have been found shot at in 3 locations. Julia police began looking for a suspect in a car. They are getting near one of the two buildings. The Hill County Sheriff's Office was investigating a shooting death that took place yesterday when 7 bodies were found in 2 houses on the same street today. Joliet Police Chief Bill Evans says the suspect knew the victim.
We will do everything in our power here at the Joliet Police Department to bring the person responsible for this to justice.
U.S. military officials say the latest strikes by the U.S. and Britain targeting Houthi underground storage sites in Yemen have been successful. CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland says there is concern over a potential escalation.
We're certainly in a very dangerous moment here, where at any time we could see this go off the rails very quickly. So far, at least, the Houthis have not killed anybody, to the best of my knowledge, in their attacks on shipping. Those ships that were damaged were able to continue on their way.
Republican presidential hopeful Nikki Haley says it's go time as she barnstorms New Hampshire to get out the vote ahead of tomorrow's primary. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns says the pressure is sky high as the GOP frontrunner Donald Trump looks to seal the deal.
New Hampshire Secretary of State is projecting record turnout in a Republican presidential primary, expecting 37,000 more voters than in the last competitive GOP race in 2016. Rallies are aimed at turning out every last vote.
President Biden is not on the Democratic ballot in New Hampshire because he opted to support a primary calendar that puts South Carolina as the first contest. With Florida Governor Ron DeSantis now out of the presidential race, CBS's Peter King reports that they'll have plenty to contend with back home.
To start with, DeSantis comes back to a series of lawsuits resulting from his actions or those of state lawmakers. University of Central Florida history professor Jim Clark says he faces fights
in higher education, the drag queens, 2 state attorneys,
which he removed from office unilaterally. He and the state are also being sued by Disney after outlawing the company's special governing district when Disney spoke out against what critics called the Don't Say Gay law. DeSantis also faces a crisis affecting millions of Floridians.
Insurance rates keep going up and up and up.
2 special sessions were supposed to deal with that, but didn't. Peter King, CBS News, Orlando.
Feds recommend that airlines inspect door plugs on some older Boeing jets as well as Boeing 737 MAX 9s. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You're listening to Nightside with Levon Putney on WCBS 880 News.
34 degrees in White Plains right now. Well, it feels like 27, though, with that wind chill factored in. Overnight, our temperature around New York City, bottoming out to about 32 degrees, maybe a little cooler in outlying suburbs. And then for Tuesday, maybe some freezing rain mixed in with sleet, snow, along with the rain that's coming in the morning. High near 40, but they say much of the day will be in the 30s north of the city. And it'll be the same kind of conditions tomorrow night into Wednesday, too. WCBS News Time, 9:03. Well, police say some guy went at 3 NYPD officers with a machete today in a Flatbush, Brooklyn apartment.
Officers got the call here at 1151 New York Avenue. They were speaking with the family when a sergeant was hit in the head with a machete. Jose is the super. His worker was painting in the apartment at the time.
And I see all the police coming inside. The guy went crazy. His mother called the police on him. But he don't want me to finish painting the room and stuff. And then he hit the police.
The officer is in stable condition. Jose says the man now in custody has mental health issues and has attacked police officers before. It's scary to Bree, who lives here and doesn't feel safe.
You know what they should do? Like, why don't you get people and hire a security guard? That's a lot safer.
2 other officers have hand and shoulder injuries. In Flatbush, Mac Rosenberg, WCBS 880 News.
Former President Trump is having to wait at least a day longer to wrap up the part of the Manhattan trial to decide how much he'll have to pay in damages to the writer who accused him of sexual assault, because on Monday,
Donald Trump left the courthouse less than an hour after he had arrived, expecting to testify in the penalty phase of a defamation case. But the proceedings were adjourned for the day due to illness. Trump is looking to have his say in the case, where former columnist Jean Carroll is looking for over $10 million in damages. She says Trump continued to speak disparagingly about her, affect her reputation and livelihood, even after he was found liable for sexually assaulting her decades ago. Trump claims he doesn't know Carroll, it never happened, and said she had financial motives. Trump attended the trial last week. The judge threatened to remove him from the courtroom when he continued to speak at the defense table. I'm Julia Papa, WCBS 880 News.
And in a Long Island courtroom today, a man who used to be a doctor was sentenced to serve 5 to 15 years in prison.
Former Dr. George Blotti pleaded guilty after prosecutors say the 78-year-old was a serial killer for prescribing opioids and other medications in large quantities to 5 patients who were addicted to drugs. Those 5 people died. The former DA in Nassau County said his prescription pad was as deadly as any lethal weapon. Blotti, authorities say, prescribed the medication from a parking lot of a Rockville Center hotel where he was living. The 5 people were under his care from 2016 to 2018. When he was first arrested, he was charged with second-degree murder, but those charges were later reduced to manslaughter. Authorities say Blotti got warnings about his practices from insurance companies and pharmacists, but kept on writing prescriptions. On Long Island, Sophia Hall, WCBS 880 News.
WCBS News Time, 9:06. Now, the Port Authority put out word they recovered over $25 million in tolls from drivers who somehow avoided paying them at the agency's bridges and tunnels.
The Port Authority said just last Friday a driver using a device to block his license plate was arrested at the George Washington Bridge. He owed close to $20,000 in unpaid tolls and fees. Robin Bramwell Stewart, who oversees toll operations for the agency, says they're catching repeat offenders through targeted patrols, improved internal data collection, and better technology.
The users of our facilities pay for the maintenance and upkeep of those facilities, so it's critically important to us that we collect all of the tolls that are required. We also view it as an item of fairness.
The Port Authority Police Department issued close to 6,000 toll evasion summonses last year, a 28% increase from 2022. Marla Diamond, WCBS 880 News.
In Bristol, Connecticut, police would like to remind people that just because it's been freezing cold outside does not make it a good idea to leave cars running to warm up in the driveway at home or outside a gas station or convenience store. Because cold or not, thieves are still out there hoping that somebody's going to give them an easy, toasty, warm car to steal. And so far this month, Bristol police say there have been 29 such somebodies filing stolen car reports. And obviously a lot of them are happening at Cumberland Farms store, convenience store there on Pine Street. There were 249 stolen vehicle reports all last year in Bristol. 9:08. Time for traffic and weather together on the 8th. Here's Kelly Dillon.
We do have a crash on the westbound Jackie Robinson Parkway into Queens Boulevard, still knocking out the right lane, still bumper to bumper here. The crash on the westbound Southern State past the Wantagh Parkway. It has been cleared away, and delays, they are starting to ease out. Now, there is some construction work on the southbound New England Thruway setting up from exit 17 through 16 in New Rochelle in the right lane. So we are getting a bit crowded here into this area. Also, you're going to see construction work in Connecticut on the Connecticut Turnpike, heading southbound exit 18 through 16 in Westport, left lane out. That's also getting quite busy. There's a crash involving injuries on the Garden State Parkway southbound tonight, exit 89 in Lakewood. It's in the right lane, so we do have